everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel Video Tapes. My name is Ryan, and today I will be reviewing the newest full-length record by rapper, producer, virtuoso talent, Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. Now this is the 6th studio album, fresh off the heels of what I would consider Tyler's best work, Igor. I fell in love with that project almost on impact back in 2019, and throughout the rest of the year I held it up as the best record of that entire year, and that stood once the year ended. And ever since then, I've just been hotly anticipating how Tyler the Creator would follow up that record, what kind of sonic direction the man would go into on a new project. And lo and behold, 2 years would pass, and we would get the lead-off single to this album, which I did a reaction to on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's called Lumberjack. It's the 5th track on this album, and it kind of gave me a taste of what Tyler the Creator was kind of going for on this project. The track is very grimy. It had a lot of interesting ad-libs by none other than DJ Drama in the background. I liked the synthesizers on that song, and the way that Tyler just delivered his vocals and lyrics on that track were just very braggadocious and had a lot of charisma packed into them. So in terms of what I can gather for stylistic shift from Igor to this album is that Tyler the Creator is going in a bit more of a raw and grimy direction, almost like a 2000s mixtape aesthetic on this single of Lumberjack. And I didn't know how representative that would have been for the rest of this album, although that's not necessarily the only thing that this album has going for. This feels like a very climactic point in Tyler the Creator's discography. It's almost like we are getting so much of all of his individual personalities all mixed together. There's a bit of Cherry Bomb influence on one track. There can be a bit of a Flower Boy influence on another. Even Igor has a bit of influence on this record in terms of what Tyler is trying to communicate stylistically and sonically on this record. It stands at about 16 tracks long. It's only 52 minutes, and it features a myriad of different artists, such as DJ Drama, as mentioned before, on a lot of these tracks on the album. There's NBA Youngboy on one of these tracks, 42 Doug on one track, Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi Vert, Pharrell, and, it's just giving me those vibes of not something that's not necessarily like a hip-hop record that would be released today. Again, it feels much more raw and personal than that, and that's something to expect from Tyler the Creator, someone who's a very much of a visionary type of guy, to not give you a normal album release. He's always got something new and interesting up his sleeve. The first track on this album, Sir Baudelaire, is definitely kind of like an intermediate point between this record and Igor, in a sense. It's very lo-fi. It's got a very interesting piano lead. DJ Drama is hyping the hell out of this record in the background, and Tyler the Creator is delivering some pretty interesting verses as well. It's a very interesting way to start off the album, and it's a very interesting way to get the ball rolling into the next track, Corso, which is the first true banger on this album, although it doesn't really start that way. It's got a very interesting, grimy piano beat attached to it, but then as the song goes along, it gets a lot more hectic and wild and just braggadocious in terms of Tyler the Creator's charisma on this song, once again, like flexing his luxury and all that jazz. Lemonhead definitely continues that 2000s mixtape banger kind of vibe. It has some very synthetic horns in the background just blaring. 42 Doug's feature on this track is very suitable as well. I very much love his raspy delivery that he gives on this song, and it's very weird too that Tyler the Creator feels the need to even do like a beat switch on this track that's a bit more island poppy on a song that's otherwise just a banger. And speaking of stylistic throwbacks. The song WusYaName is so 90s R&B. I was almost half expecting like Boyz II Men to drop into the track and serenade me or something, but instead we got Tyler the Creator, talking big game to this girl, I imagine in like a party or, a vacation type setting, trying to show her a good time, trying to get to know her better. It's just very sensual. It's a very sweet cut. That's really lovely to listen to. And also NBA Youngboy is so good on this track. I'm not familiar with NBA Youngboy, but I'm going to keep my eyes on him just because of this track alone. How well he fits the vibe of the track so well. His delivery is very, it's chock full with personality. Tyler the Creator very much used him well on this track in particular. The sixth track on the album, Hot Wind Blows, is definitely much more of a, relaxing, vibey type of song that seems a bit tropical as well. I like the flute instrumental that backs this track quite a bit. And, narratively, it shows that Tyler is just out somewhere traveling in Geneva, maybe relaxing a bit. Traveling and luxury is a pretty big through line, but needless to say that it was definitely a very relaxing song to put at this point in the track listing, and Lil Wayne is pretty much in rare form on this track. The song Massa is definitely a bit more of a slow song on this record. It slows down the momentum quite a bit, but it's made up for in the fact that it's one of the first true introspective cuts on this record. This track definitely goes deep into Tyler the Creator throughout his growth, talking about his past successes like Cherry Bomb and Flower Boy. Tyler the Creator even equates this success to that of the success of Black American in general in this country, as I think we all know that Black Americans in America have always been very subjugated and tried to have it's been a very hard time to get a leg up in the society. So every time he progresses and gets even better with each release, it almost feels like he's running away from his master, as he alludes to in the chorus on this track. And I feel like that's a very interesting way of communicating that type of message onto the track. The song then continues into the other track, RunItUp. The instrumental on this track is pretty exciting and uplifting. It's definitely got a marching band quality to it, and I always find those kind of beats, if executed correctly, to be very fun to listen to on a hip-hop record. Song Manifesto, my god, this is such old Tyler, but perfected to a T. This is definitely another introspective cut on this record, but this time around Tyler the Creator is talking about more of his controversial past, and he even alludes to the fact that I was canceled before canceled was done with Twitter fingers once in this track, and it's really very hard cut. I really like the instrumental behind it, but it's kind of awkward as well because I've heard this sample done on an Eric Andre like shitpost album back in 2019, so every time I hear it I just it's like give me like whiplash. What project am I listening to right now? But going back to Tyler the Creator, message on this song, it's actually a pretty interesting one because he talks a bit in this track about his responsibility as a black man in America when it comes to addressing, certain type of topics, and he just expresses straightforward that he's definitely passionate about them, but he doesn't really feel like he's the right person to talk about these kind of things. So in a way to try to empower people, his message has always been like, if you want to empower yourself as a black man in America, you just do what you want to do. From what we know about Tyler the Creator, really, that is definitely a message that he lives up to. He's always been a free spirit in a way, and it's very interesting way to go about a black empowerment anthem on your track. It's definitely one of my favorite stands out of this entire record. Now, there are two, yes, count them, two songs on this album that go past the usual length of a Tyler the Creator song. And by going past, I mean going like way past. The first of those two tracks is the song Sweet Dash I Thought You Wanted to Dance. This track stands at about 10 minutes long. And it's a very interesting, bold song for Tyler the Creator to embark on as a music producer. I really love what's going on in this track instrumentally, as it begins as a kind of simple pop tune at the beginning with some nice melodies. The instrumentation is very poppy, fun, and eccentric. I really like the chorus on this track saying that they should call you sugar, you're so sweet. It's very cute vibe. But what really makes the track is the transition into the next half of the song, I Thought You Wanted to Dance, because the beat switch up on this thing is very, it's like very reggaeton. It's almost like Tyler the Creator's reggaeton track, and if anything, it just proves to me once again that Tyler the Creator is a very inventive and fun musical producer, and to put it at this, to make a track this long and as enjoyable and attention-grabbing as it is, it's truly a triumph, and he should feel proud of himself as a music producer. The song Rise is not necessarily one of my favorites in the track, but it's still a really good song. I think it's collaborated with Jamie XX of the XX fame. But regardless, it's a fun little poppy tune that, I'm not necessarily crazy about it, but I guess on repeat listens, I'll warm up to it a bit more. And when I thought this album, was getting to a point where I thought it was out of tricks, Tyler the Creator hits me with the biggest left hook ever and makes the song Juggernaut. My God, is this one of the best bangers on the album. It kind of leads you on a bit, and it starts off with this very plucky instrumental, and Tyler the Creator is just like doing these very rhythmic flows on it, and then it switches up the bam, 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 and then it just hits. The beat switch just hits like a freaking train. And the features on this track with Lil Uzi Vert and Pharrell Williams, who I know that Tyler the Creator is very much inspired by, and throughout his entire career, he's not been silent about that influence either. So I guess getting to do a track with the man himself must have been a very fun thing, and it sounds like they're having a really good time making this song. It's just an absolute banger, and I enjoyed it immensely. I mentioned that there was 2 long songs that usually go past the normal length of a Tyler the Creator track, and the second one is definitely this 15th track here, the song Wilshire. This song stands at about 8 minutes long. It's not as long as the last one, but in comparison to this one, to the last long song, which had very interesting instrumentals, this one kind of does not. The instrumental on this track is very, very one note, and given that it is an 8-minute long song, many times it kind of just doesn't help elevate the track all that much. But what does elevate it, and what saves Wilshire from being a boring listen, is definitely the narrative that's going on in this track that helps to recontextualize a lot of what has been expressed on this album quite a bit. Tyler the Creator plays the role of the storyteller rapper in this, talking about a relationship, talking about its promising beginnings and its harsh conclusions. It's a very interesting way to sort of end the album in a way, because the last track on this album, Safari, is the true closer. Safari is an okay, pretty solid closer to the album. I like the instrumental. Tyler the Creator is dishing out some pretty interesting double entendres and verses on this track, and it's a good way to leave off the rest of this album, kind of tie it up with a sweet bow. So there may be a deeper message to this album that I think a lot of people are kind of theorizing. Tyler the Creator, again, very conceptual artist. It stands to reason that whenever he makes an album this dense and full of material, that we're going to sit down and just theorize, what is he trying to communicate on this album? I think, ultimately, the number one thing that he's trying to communicate on this record is him using luxury and all these other different things to make him feel good in the moment, because Tyler the Creator is a man with pretty big mental scars, whether it be through his controversial past, his development as an artist, his failed relationships, whatever it may be. He's using these things as a form of escapism to distract himself from becoming a better person, or becoming a a more complete person, if you will. But needless to say, given that this is a very climactic period in Tyler the Creator's development as an artist as well, I think it stands to reason that there is another interpretation, and that is that, yes, I have had a controversial past. I may fuck up with women, and I may not, I may have had a shaky career artistically, but I am going to use whatever success that I have currently to live the best life that I can. And I tend to gravitate to more that side, because this is a very, very fun album. I really loved and enjoyed this record. If anything, it proved to me that Tyler the Creator is one of the most interesting voices, and will continue to be one of the most interesting voices going forward in hip-hop today. I loved this record immensely, and with 3 great records at this point, Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost. 5-10 years from now, we're going to be talking about Tyler the Creator as one of the best of his era. As for a score for this record, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So what did you guys think about Call Me If You Get Lost? Did you think it was an amazing record? Do you think it was kind of overrated? I'd like to hear in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video. It would help me a lot in the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. But other than that, see you in whatever the hell I do next. Whether that be a review or something bigger down the line. And I'll just see you next time. Peace.